In chapter 1.7, we talked a lot about exponents and how you deal with exponents. Some of chapter 3.1 is a bit of a review, and some of it's some new concepts. And then in chapter 3.2, they're going to talk about negative exponents, but we can wait for that. Looking at problem number 2 on page 167, we have x to the 7th times x to the 9th. And as we recall, to get that, we would just take 7 plus 9, and we got x to the 16th. Looking at number 30, we have b to the 23rd divided by b to the 18th. That was equal to b to 23 minus 18. And so that's equal to b to the 5th. Those are the basic concepts. Let's take a look at some other problems. First, we'll look at problem number 20, where you have x squared, quantity x squared, y cubed, quantity x cubed y, and quantity x to the 4th y squared. In this particular case, all you have to do is count the number of exponents. That's not easy to say. Or exponents for x. You have 2 plus 3, that's 5, plus 4, that makes that x to the 9th. And the exponents for y are 3, 1, and 2, so that makes that y to the 6th. Pretty simple. Looking at number 26, first what we have to do is we have to take care of the antecedents to the variables, or those numbers in front, to include the sign. So we have negative 3 times 5 makes it a negative 15, and then negative 15 times a negative 2 gives us a positive 30. The next thing we're going to do then is count how many exponents we have for x. And we have 1 in that first term, 2 more in the second term, and 3 in the third. Those all add up to x to the 6th. For y, we have 1 in the first term, 1 in the second term, and 2 more in the third, so that makes that y to the 4th. So far, that's been pretty simple. Now let's take a look at a few more. They're a little more complex. Looking at number 44, we have 2x times the quantity minus 3x, that whole quantity squared. All right, so this still becomes 2x. But now, what's negative 3 times negative 3, that's a positive 9, times negative 3 again, makes that a negative 27, and then x cubed. Now when we multiply those two together, 2 times negative 27 gives us a negative 54, and we just add the exponents. We have 1 in the first term for that first x, 3 more for the x cubed, that makes it x to the 4th. In number 46, for the first time, we're going to talk about a concept where if we have something taken to a power and then that whole quantity taken to a power again, what that really means is we're going to multiply negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, and then we're going to go x squared times x squared times x squared. All right? Negative 3 times 3 is 9. Positive 9 times a negative 3 gives us a negative 27. And now, if we take the exponents for the terms, x's, there's a 2, a 2, and a 2. That makes it x to the 6th. The other way you can get that is if you take the exponent on the inside and multiply it by the exponent on the outside. So 2 times 3 gives us 6. That's how we do that. That's a little bit easier than stringing it all out. So let's take a look at number 50. In number 50, what we have is 2x cubed to the 4th power times 3x to the 4th squared. Well, 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. That's 16. And then if we take the 3, multiply it by the 4, what we get is x to the 12th power. Oops, should do that. I'm sorry, I should do that in black. X to the 12th power. We're going to multiply that 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. X to the 4th, and here again, we're going to take that 4, multiply it by that 2, and what we're going to get is x to the 8th. Now, 16 times 9, 144, and then x to the 12th, x to the 8th, that gives us x to the 20th. All right, so far pretty simple. We've got 2 more problems to do, number 62 and 64. Hopefully we've got the space to do that. In number 62, when we square things, 5 squared is 25. Okay, x to the 5th times 2, x to the 10th. Sorry about that. Let's do that all over again. 25 x to the 10th y squared times -3 times -3 times -3. 3 times 3 is 9. That's a positive 9 times 3 is -27. And then x cubed taken to the 3rd power is x to the 9th. And y to the 4th taken to the 3rd power is y to the 12th. Now, when I multiply 25 times a -27, what I come up with is a -675. How do I know that? Because that's what they wrote in the book. But looking at the x terms, I've got x to the 10th, x to the 9th. Add those together and I get x to the 19th. Y squared, y to the 12th, gives me y to the 14th. The last one here, what we're going to do is we've got to cube that second part. So what we have is just the first part written over again. 6x to the 5th, y to the 4th, over 5xy. That's going to be multiplied by, everything cubed is going to now make that numerator x to the 9th, y to the 15th, over x cubed y to the 9th. Now if we simplify each of those terms, what we'll get in the first one is 6, and what we have is x to the 5th divided by x, so that's x to the 4th. And then y to the 4th divided by y gives us y cubed. In the second one, what we have then is x to the 9th divided by 3, so that makes that subtracting x to the 6th. And then y to the 15th divided by y to the 9th gives us y to the 6th. Now when we multiply that across, I'm sorry, it was 6/5. We end up with 6 over 5. X is to the 4th, and 6 gives us x to the 10th. And then y is to the 3rd, and the 6th gives us y to the 9th. And then we solve probably the most complex of problems. In fact, when you see that last one right here, another way they write it in the book is 6x to the 10th, y to the 9th, over 5. Either way is acceptable. All right? Enjoy.